gonna do an intro.
Okay. Do I look that way?
Look that way. Hi! It's me! Me and my friend Pam, my bestest friend Pam, my soul sister, my mother from another life.
Mm-hmm.
I've decided that it's time to introduce this wonderful spirit.
Mm-hmm.
She is my teacher, my spiritual teacher, my channeler.
You're a life coach.
She does it all.
I do.
She does it all. We might have a little bit of interference. There's some construction going on outside. So bear with us if there is construction sounds. But unfortunately, my poor friend is not staying very long in France, so we didn't have much time to get together. But I really wanted to do this live because it's just so much more fun. And you guys sent in a bunch of questions, which Pam nicely printed out.
Mm-hmm.
Good job, Pam.
Thank you.
I'm very proud of you.
Thank you. I do stuff like that.
We're just kind of goofballs, and we just spitball stuff that we receive back and forth. We help each other out.
In other words, we have no idea what we're doing, but carry on.
No, but Pam's a really interesting spirit, so I thought it would be great for you guys to get to know her a little bit more on an intimate level.
Ooh.
Pam.
Okay, this is where people like click, move it along. No.
Oh, no.
Thank you for staying, everyone. Thank you.
Okay. You ready? Have a sip. Have a sip. All right.
Here come the
So,
questions.
I have to say, we did get a lot of the same questions. And one of the biggest, I think, most returning questions was, how did we meet?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And did we have a past life connection?
How did we meet? How did we meet?
I'm going to let you answer
Oh,
it.
geez, because you don't remember.
I do remember now. Short-term memory loss. It's a terrible disease.
How did we meet?
It was during a session.
It was, I found you quite by accident, although later to find out that we were very divinely brought together, as we all are, I imagine. I found you on YouTube, and I was blown away because, as we all know, there are billions of mediums out in the world, and very few have the authenticity that you do, that we've all seen. I saw that. I was blown away. I have got to have a session with you. I had no question. I just wanted to. I did have questions. I'm lying. Anyway, and it was when you were first on YouTube, so you weren't very busy at that time. Unlike today, yeah. Fortunately, I was able to arrange a session with you pretty soon, which I know isn't the case today, folks. I'm sorry, but
even Pam has to wait.
Even I have to wait. I'm waiting for. Anyway.
I feel so bad for everyone.
I know.
I'm sorry.
I know. It's a wait, folks. It's a wait. And that's how we met. I found you on YouTube, scheduled a session. We had a session together. And I would say our relationship began when I saw you in Belgium. I went to Belgium with my husband, and when we saw each other, and in the flesh, that was
right.
That's when the magic happened.
Yep. And I remember you reaching out and you were just like, well, we're just going to go visit Belgium, or, going on a little sightseeing. Is it okay if we stop by and say hello? And we had that session before. And with every session, I feel very connected to every person I talk to. I feel like I'm family with every single one of them. But I also keep a barrier up because it is still your job and you have to keep that barrier up. But then I think the first time we hugged, we looked at each other and we went, wait a minute, There's something more going on here. Yeah. I know this hug. I've had this hug before. Mm-hmm. It was almost like instant, kind of like a backflash of feelings. It wasn't really visualizing things. It was more like, this feeling is so familiar. We instantly knew, like we've known each other.
From that moment, or that visit in Belgium, our relationship shifted
Dramatically and very quickly.
And we stayed in touch, and our relationship really took off. And you and your family came to see us in France a couple times. We've both been to each other's homes. And so that's how we met. I think that's what the question was. And there you are. Here we are.
Right. And have we had many past life connections? Yes, a ton.
Yes.
A ton, and probably some more in the future.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
do this
sorry.
again?
You're going to have to deal with me again. I know it's a toughie.
And we've done every combination, haven't we? Mother, daughter, mother, sisters. I typically die first.
What is up with that?
Which is why?
But it's almost like there's always an exchange.
Yes.
A teaching exchange. You're my teacher, I'm your teacher. You take care of me, I take care of you. We have that mother-daughter relationship where
both ways.
Yeah,
both
where
ways.
We took care of each other in different stages of life and in different ways, but always kind of being that guide or teacher to each other. And so in this lifetime as well, I found you at the right time. There's a divine timing for everything. And I think I was in need of somebody who could understand me and who could, in a way, also help me go through kind of the challenges that I was going through. And so, again, there's no coincidence, is there? Right. And Eric later on, my guide, explained, you were guided to that video, and that
Eric led me to you for
Eric pushed us together because I needed you at that time, and in some way form you needed me, and that relationship needed to be kind of reconnected because we had always been there for each other during the tough times, because we've had some incarnations that were challenging.
We did indeed.
To say the least. So, and that's the thing, isn't it? Like, even if we're not born in the same city, the universe will find a way for you guys to meet. That's just how it works. And I didn't know you lived in France. I thought you lived just in Vermont. So, when you said France, I was like, oh, we're close. And the universe will find a way to push those souls together, or find a way to connect, even if it is over the distance, in order for us to have that journey together and to kind of fulfill that contract that you make before you come into this one. And you've just always been there in some way or form for me, and I've always been there in some way or form for you. So
many more lives ahead. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
All right, let's see here. Kimberly wanted to know, what is your favorite part about helping others? Good question. I like that.
Helping others.
Yeah.
My favorite part, and for those of you who have had a session with me, you'll understand this. My favorite part of helping others is the humor, the sense of humor, the joy. I will explain that in that when we are in our joy, we raise our vibration. We are aligning to the best possible outcome. Nothing does that quicker than having that humor, having that joy. So when I help other people, when I am a part of someone else's journey, thank you, I'm honored to have that role. My mission is to lift you up and cheer you on. And one of the ways I do that is with humor that leads to that joy. So when I'm helping someone, I always have that in the back of my mind. Where is your joy? Where is your happy? Come on. Show us a smile. Come on, show us a smile. So obviously it's not always appropriate to use humor, but because my mission is to lift you up and cheer you on, I'm always looking for that. So the best part, my favorite part of helping people is connecting people with their joy.
Right. And the thing is, when you channel and you use a lot of angels to do your channeling work with, that's what the angels want you to be. They want to lift you up. So it just aligns with who you are on a natural basis. And then you have these angels coming in and assisting you into lifting other people's vibrations. It's just a lot of fun to be able to do that and to really guide a person to feeling better and having a better understanding of things, and not just automatically lift you up. So
that's my mission.
I totally get that. All right. Okay, let's see. Dawn wanted to know, how does angel energy look to you versus, let's say, your guide's energy? She says, I know you talk about feeling them, but what does it look like to you? Do you see it? Do you see the energy?
It's so awesome. And what a great question, because I think a lot of people wonder about that or experience it similarly, perhaps. Angelic energy and guides, very, very different. Angels are, best way I can describe it in how I see and experience angels is light, and a very different forms of light, very elongated. If you think of your typical angel, little angel figurine, now imagine that stretched out, and stretched out so enormously that it actually loses its original form and is just light. But in that light, I see and feel the angel that may be the man-made angel that we have. But so angels to me are these incredibly magnificent beings of light as well. And guides will appear more in what I would call what the human mind would expect to see. A guide, my mother being a guide, she's showing up to me as I remember her, as I know her, so she's going to show herself as mom. So guides to me are more human form and more human-like, and so they feel different because of that. They look different because of that, but very different. And so there's an immediate knowing of guide angel.
Yeah,
because
you just
it's just so clear about how they present to me.
And also how they feel.
And how they feel.
The vibration, an angelic being, which people like to imagine as this human-looking creature with wings. To me, they look more like alien light beings, really long. Yeah, we see them very similar.
You can't really even see where they start and end.
No,
they're just.
And then if I see them sometimes together, and the humans look like little midgets next to them.
I know.
So it's really fun, but the vibration is so different. Guides have a higher elevated frequency than we do in our human form. But it's still not as high as these angelic beings, which is the energy just feels massive. So it's cool. We see them very similar. So yeah, great. All right, Destin, my sweet, sweet Destin. Do you have a personal favorite angel, and have you ever communicated with an angel named Jonathan?
Have never communicated with an angel named Jonathan. No. Favorite angel, I have to say Michael, because for those of you who are familiar with my work and seen me live, I always say Michael's horning in. He horns in on sessions, he horns in on live angel readings, whatever it might be. So if I didn't say him, I think he'd be a little, what? I'm not your favorite. So Michael's my favorite because I have been aware of his presence throughout my life, and I'm sure, absolutely sure, that's why he is present so consistently in the work that I do. So let's call him my favorite.
He's massive. Brenda, my sweet Brenda, wanted to know, let's see here. Emma, your channeling of God was incredible. It was, but very challenging, wasn't it? When she heard she had to do God, you should have seen her face. She's like, you were just like over, Yeah, it was really funny. Anyway, she says, I'm so glad you picked Pam to ask the questions. Me too. What was Pam's first reaction? Oh, look, that's the question. When you asked her to be your partner in this, that was her face was priceless. You could explain it.
So that's right. That was a long time ago when you had the interview with Jesus. Long time ago, and in fact, it was when I was just starting to host the interviews with you, and you were saying to me, I think I'd like to interview Jesus for Christmas that year. And of course, as you said, I got very excited. And I said, can I have that one? Can I have that one? And you said, well, no, I'm going to have somebody else do that. And just as my heart was sinking, you said, I do want you to host God, though. So I went from this immediate jolt. I'm sure I had a heart attack. I went from this immediate jolt of, oh, I'm not doing Jesus, to what? God? Oh, I win. And it was, you have to imagine I'm in this moment of disappointment, not being able to do Jesus in the same moment, but you're doing God. All I can say is imagine what that would do to your
Somebody
heart.
went.
It was like an electric shock. So it took me a moment to recover. It took me a moment and that's probably why my face was all contorted, because I was like, I've just had a heart attack, folks. It took me a moment to wrap my head around that when I said I'm going to interview God. I want to connect with God, and you can ask the questions. And I was like, hold on a second, I gotta change my pants. That was my reaction. Yeah. I think, and from that point forward, it was probably 2.5 years before we actually did it.
It took a long time.
It was a long time, but it was time that clearly we both needed. We both needed, for our own reasons, to prepare for the magnitude of that connection. It was enormous.
It was tough because the energy is so massive.
Mm.
I had to continuously try it and stop because I was constantly crying. And I'm like, I can't do an interview when I'm constantly sobbing. So it took me 2 years just to be able to get to a point where I could contain the energy and not intervene. So,
But we did it. So many people have watched Jesus, and that's great. But if you haven't seen God, watch the God one.
Watch the God one.
On YouTube.
Some people have missed that one.
I know. It's on YouTube, folks. Okay, come on. Just a little promo there.
There you go. Kuhora?
See, it's hard. You got to do the names. Hard. Emma is appreciating asking questions, saying names. This is what I do. This is my gig. She's doing it. It's hard.
Pam has a tough job.
It's hard, folks.
It's easier for me to just zone out. Let the spirit do the work.
Oh.
Let's see. What was your last or most memorable incarnation? I also pick one as Victorian, maybe. I guess she likes the Victorian age.
Would that be when I was changing bedpans?
I think so.
That one?
I think so.
That's not the most recent
that was
one.
In Europe?
Yeah. I thought maybe the most memorable
that you know of.
That I know of.
So many.
Yeah, there's a lot. The life that I remember, that no one told me about. No one said, "Oh, you had a past life, this, that." The life that I remember that's most recent was in the U.S., southern states, female, single, never married. Had that going. I don't know what that means, but
I think she wanted independence.
That life was about how difficult. It was around the time, women getting the right to vote in the States. The reason I say I wasn't married and I didn't have children is because I was really driven into women's rights and the workplace. I worked at a newspaper. I wanted so badly to be a writer, but I could never get the front page, so to speak, because I was a woman, and there were so many challenges about that life.
You didn't get the opportunities, probably.
I was very lucky that I had the employment that I did. I was very lucky in that regard, and it did give me some voice. It did give me some platform. But keep in mind, folks, this was at a time when women really just didn't have any rights, and it was in the South too. And there was all kinds of discrimination and racism, and that life for me is really memorable because it's not that long ago, and so many of those issues in that life still exist today. So lots about that. Anyway, that's that one. There's a life that Emma has told me about that I have no recollection of, but I think we should interview her. I think you should do that one. Matahari.
Matahari. Although you have researched her, and there are certain things that kind of make you feel things.
Can't you see me as an exotic dancer? Comment below.
Absolutely.
Can you not see that that's me? I mean, look her up on Wikipedia. Look at the face. Very similar here, folks. So I was really grooving to the exotic dancer. I don't like the way she died.
No,
that was not a fun way to die.
But she had strength and she had courage.
Again.
That's you.
How could this not fit? Anyway, so we could do that interview if you put that in the comments below.
If you want us to interview Matahari. But that would be interesting.
I think because it's when the whole idea of another life, and if you can connect to that celebrity or that person that's known, that person who you can find on the internet, it blows you away to think, was that me? And so I don't know.
And the thing
people
is,
like that.
We're all one, so we're all connected. We all kind of are everyone a little bit. And I know that's a hard concept for people.
That's a very hard concept.
Lisa wants to know, did you have any special experience or training to own your intuitive skills? Good question.
Now, who is asking that?
Lisa.
Did I have any special
or training?
Special training? Only not intuitively. I did have specific training in energy work. I'm not saying it wasn't energy. I guess energy healing.
So are you like a Reiki practitioner?
No, it wasn't. No, it was. It's actually called matrix repatterning, and I had training, one-on-one training with a doctor in Toronto, Canada, some years ago, and he helped me with. He called it timeline repatterning, which was terrific. So he taught me how to change a person's energetic experience from the past. So you're shifting a timeline experience. That's why it's called timeline repatterning. You go into someone's timeline energetically and work with them on shifting that energy. And that was fascinating. That's cool. The only specific formal training that I've had of any kind that has to do with under that umbrella of spirituality is energy work. Mm-hmm. That's how I learned how to hone what I was doing energetically and with other people. And so that's my only formal training. I've not had any other classes or training of any other kind.
That's pretty cool though. I've never heard of that kind of training, but it sounds really interesting.
It was fantastic. Fantastic.
And it probably opened up also a little bit more how you could feel energy because you were working with it. Yes,
it helped tremendously with working with energy in general. Although it was a specific training to repatterning energy in someone's field, it certainly was beneficial in learning more about energy, my own energy, how to work with it, all that. So energy work was really awesome. That was, oh gosh, that was probably 20 years ago I did that.
Cool. Very cool. I need to look that up. What has been the biggest surprise during your journey? And do you trust where the universe is taking you, or do you tell the divine to off on occasion because you're not happy with your current circumstances? I'm sure we all do that one.
Who doesn't? So the first question, my biggest surprise,
during your journey.
And I'm guessing
meeting me.
This was the biggest surprise. Does it get bigger than this?
I'm coming and I'm going, hi, Mom.
Biggest surprise, yes. And so we connect most deeply to mother-daughter. Just my daughter, my birth daughter, is the same age as you.
Yeah.
So that puts me in the right away, the mom. So mom, daughter comes first here. That's not the biggest surprise.
Probably
What's the
not.
biggest? The biggest surprise is that something that I've lived with my whole life, very naturally, very just part of who I am, became my mission. That's been the biggest surprise in the spiritual journey. That I will talk more about that a little later, what that was for me. But the biggest surprise is that this has become my mission. That's a surprise. And what was part two? What did you want to know?
Do you ever tell the universe to fuck off?
Oh, yeah. The way you say that, so yeah, we do this. So matter of factly, yes, of course. Although I will say this, I did that much more often years ago. When I was much more in what I would call developmentally moving through my life in different stages. I'm at a season in my life now where I have less and less reason to tell the universe to F off, and I'm not happy with this. So that's something that I think, depending on where you are in your life and what challenges you're facing, that's how much control you're feeling you need to have in your life, and that changes. Again, I'm just at a season in my life where it's more zen and my challenges are fewer and fewer, and so I don't find myself very often saying the way I did some years ago, raising a family or finding my career or struggles, challenges.
I think that's also experience with life, and you've been through hassles and troubles and hurdles like everybody else, and you're still here.
Yeah, it's just
still doing all right.
It's a much more comfortable place for me today. I have peace in my life. I'm at Zen, I guess you'd say. I'm at a time and a place in my life today where, how would I say that? I'm best equipped to help others. I have, because of, I'm not going through my own stuff. Not that I don't have stuff to go through. I'm talking about the major life changes. Raising your kids, the trials that we have in our lifetime. Those all feel kind of behind me. Again, it's not that I don't have challenges today. They're just so different. They're just much more. What would you say about that? This is life. This is life. It's very. It's easier.
Surrender.
It's much easier. My life is much easier today, and that puts me in a good place to be very clear and healthy and help other people in their journey. without my own stuff getting in there, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I hope one day we can all get there.
Age does that.
Yeah.
Age does that.
All right. Kay wants to know, are you one to need or look for validations from the spiritual world, and do you get any?
Again, that changes, that ebbs and flows with life. I need less validation as time goes on, but I will say validation is always great, always appreciated. Validation actually helps the energy, actually helps the connection. When I'm doing live readings and my energy is changing very rapidly, just doing rapid fire readings for people, and this person, and just a comment of that validation of thanks, spot on, thanks. It's like, okay, and it helps me move. Do I need it? Not necessarily. Do I like it? Yes. I love the validation and that it helps the energy flow. I needed validation much more, I'd say years ago, but I would connect that to a low self-esteem, low self-worth, wanting people to give me what I was not able to give myself. Not there anymore. So that's a difference. So do I get it? It was at the second part. Yes, I get the validation from the spirit world. I was talking about clients there. Validation from the spirit world. That's
through your cards, I would say.
Yeah, that. But I do ask. I'm one of those. I will ask for signs. I'll have conversations with the radio. Oh, that's ridiculous. Okay. Tell me this, tell me that, and the song will come up to answer those signs.
Yeah.
I want a specific sign. Give me the lyrics. Show me a color. Show me a number. Show me a Ben Franklin on the floor. No, I'm kidding. So yes, I ask for signs. I will get signs.
Yeah, I think you
That's
get it
just
from
how it
people,
goes.
your clients.
Yeah.
When I'm in need, boom, 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 there goes your card validations. All the different packs that you take out have the same message. And then, we get those little snippets here and there, a song, or it's just about being aware of it, I guess.
I think the validation is important because it lets us know, yes, you're on the right track. Yes, keep going. And who doesn't want that?
Yeah, it's always fun to get that. Let's see here. Angela wants to know, was there ever a time you didn't trust your gift or even like it? How has that evolved? And thus having this ability, this spiritual connection and spiritual beliefs, how does it impact your relationships, your friendships, and your connections with people?
That is a lot to take in.
Woo!
So let's start. I'm looking at it too to get the breakdown of the first one. Was there ever a time I didn't trust? There were many, many times that I did not like it. Trust, no. I really don't recall a time in my life where trust was an issue or do I trust this or not. It was really clearly much more, I do not like this. Not happening. And examples of that would be in my youth when this is in the 70s. This is Shakti Gawain time. This is living in the light time. This is all we had, folks. It's all we had. And there was no internet. There was no any of that. So in the 70s, it was much more about predicting the future. The emphasis was on predicting the future. And I did not like having this gift that it was called then, or sixth sense that it was called then, or what was the other one? Oh yes, ESP.
Really? ESP?
Extrasensory perception. I'm bringing you back to the 70s, before you were born. And so, but the emphasis really was about predicting the future. if you had this sixth sense, if you had this ESP, if you had all that, you could predict the future.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was a constant, what do you feel? What do you feel? What do you feel? And that's when I really didn't like it, because I had some friends and a lot of family that would press me to predict the future. And at first it was fun. At first it's really fun. And you predict something and it would happen and you go, ooh, I was right. Ooh, and you get all excited. But after a while it became, it wasn't fun anymore. And it became an expectation. And the questions about the future became bigger and tougher. It's no longer about, does this boy like me? Is this boy going to call me?
Mm.
Now it's about, kind of real important stuff.
Yeah.
And didn't want it. Just didn't want it. So
because you kind of feel responsible.
I didn't want to be responsible. Yeah. And certainly there was a lot of times in my youth I didn't like it. So that was one question.
I guess in the 70s it was more like fortune telling.
Yes.
Really, everything was it about everything?
The 70s was seances and Ouija boards and crystal balls and tarot cards in a different way than we see tarot today. But it was kind of, I did everything at night and candles, and
it was kind of like a circus.
It was a circus. It was kind of spooky and yeah.
That's what we're still kind of recovering from, isn't it?
It's
still people think about spirituality in that way.
It's
like, what are you going to do?
That's where the woo-woo comes from. The woo-woo is from it's from the 70s. It's vintage. Yeah. It's the 70s. That's the way it was.
It's just people experimenting or something.
Well, this idea of intuition was just coming out. It's like that was coming out of the closet. And it had been present for centuries. My grandmother read tea leaves, for example. And
it is a practice that's been doing in medieval times, I think, as well.
Way back, we probably did it another time, maybe.
And then they blamed the witches for it. They were just women who were energy healers who used nature for medicine.
See? So the 70s was turning the corner. I believe it was a real I look at it as a foundation of just that, getting us to evolve, getting us to where we are today.
Be a little bit more open to it.
So if we have to start with some woo-woo, we'll get there. We'll get
to the true one day. We're getting there.
We're getting there.
Cool.
So that's what I didn't.
Did it have an impact on your relationships? Well, if you felt pressured, that must have been an impact.
Yes.
You're like, I don't even know.
Yes, in that way for sure. What happened with that? I see she's saying with the connections with people. What happened was I backed away from it. It being telling people that I had this gift. That's how it was referred to back then. You have a gift. Mm-hmm. I stopped talking about it, and I didn't stop using my intuition or trusting my intuition or any of that, but I didn't talk about it. I didn't let people know about it. So it affected relationships in that, hey, I'm not doing that anymore.
Well, and in a way, it sounds like you also had to kind of hide a part of yourself, which has an impact on the relationship with yourself.
Yes, I went into the closet with that part. And I think there were many people that knew that was a part of who I am, but it was not spoken about. Didn't talk about it.
Yeah. Which still happens today.
Yes.
Karen wants to know, was your family supportive? What difficulties did you encounter when you elected to dedicate your life to a spiritual path? And what was your second career choice to be in this lifetime? That's 3 questions.
Well, Karen, we'll give it to you. My family was very supportive, always. I mean, in my spirit, trying to keep it in my spiritual journey. As a child, I was very supported by, in fact, encouraged to use this gift. And so there, as I said, my mother's mother read tea leaves. My mother was interested in astrology and tarot and all the woo-woo.
Mm-hmm.
So I was born into a family where this was normal.
Yeah.
And so from that way I was supportive. My career choice was one of being this is my second career choice. Got that flip.
Yeah.
My career path was that of being a counselor. I was educated and trained as a counselor, which was a great way for me to be an intuitive, legitimately,
All the down low.
covertly. So I could counsel people and with credibility, because I had that. I got the piece of paper, whatever you want. I had the credibility to help other people, but I could use my intuition in doing so, and no one had to know.
That's true.
No one had to know. So it was wonderful for me. So my career path was counseling, and I did a lot of other things as well, but that was the main thing. And it's been in my retirement that I chose to pursue, well, how would I say that? I came out of the closet and said, hey, this is who I am, and this is what I'm doing, and here I am. That's my biggest surprise, that this has been something I've done all my life covertly, and surprise, it's a mission. I'm doing it now openly.
Right. And thank God for that, huh?
That's right.
Katrina wants to know, I would love to know, when did you first know that you were able to communicate with the angels?
Oh gosh, was that about 20 minutes ago? I had it. Well, I was a kid. It's in my childhood, and I think most people would say that they had some experiences as a kid, and for whatever reason they shut it down or walked away from it.
Mm-hmm.
The angels have always been present, but I have honed my relationship with them in the last, I don't know, handful of years, I suppose. So
I think
it's just always been there for me.
You had the intuition, you had the connection with your team, only you weren't probably as a child fully aware that there were individuals guiding you, and that came later.
No. That was
where you actually started to identify them.
Right. I think my first idea of a guide was when I was about 13 and my grandmother passed.
Okay.
And I connected with her immediately. And that was my first idea of, I'm still in, she was the beginning of my experience with a connection to a loved one.
Mm-hmm.
And she showed me automatic writing, and that was a wonderful experience connecting with her in spirit. And that's when that was, Grandma's a guide.
Mm-hmm.
Grandma, so yeah.
Sounds very similar to me. I had a similar experience, and I think it's just when you're young, it's so natural.
Yes.
That we don't need to create identification for the team that's guiding you. It's just it's natural.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. But later on, as we grow up, we want to know.
And our loved ones, we grow up and our loved ones die.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, wait a minute.
Okay, so now you're a guide. I got this.
All right, Kiara. Babies, they smile at nothing. But they're really laughing at their angels. They're probably just having fun with them, or they're guides. Kiara wants to know, and Randy, the classic question, how did it all start for you? How did your spiritual awakening begin, and when did you realize you were an intuitive? You've tapped into that a little bit.
Yeah, I was trying to, that's such a long story. Trying to edit it down. Because I was born into a very spiritual family, or at least, my mother was, and she supported that a great deal. As I said, it was normal. There wasn't anything weird about it. I mean, I think I looked at other people that didn't have that as weird.
Mm.
But
you don't have that?
Yeah, you don't know about that?
You don't have tarot cards?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that was so
well, and I guess your mom probably had sessions with people too.
Oh my gosh,
you probably
yes.
saw people come and go. Or did you not know?
No.
Or weren't you aware of that?
No, I wasn't aware of that. It was much more about let's go back to the beginning. My father was raised in a Catholic home. My mother was raised in a Jewish home. And both of them ultimately had come to the conclusion in their young adult lives that that wasn't working for them.
Mm-hmm.
And so consequently, they married in their 20s and they're having their family, and the one thing they agreed on was, we're not going to impose our beliefs on our kids. And I think that was an enormous
great thing to do back then.
Best gift ever. So what they did, because we still obviously had a Jewish extended family and so on, so my parents said, we will take the parental responsibility of educating our children, educating them about religion.
Mm-hmm.
And very different. You will learn about religion. You will learn about as many religions as you can be exposed to. But spirituality, what you believe in, what is true to you, you're on your own. You're on your own.
Yeah.
And both my parents took that stance. Not going to tell you. Not going to tell you how to believe, what to believe, who to believe. And really being clear, I mean, I was 5-6 years old. I was clear that church was an institution of a way to learn religion. It was another place of school.
Like a school.
It was Sunday school, literally. And we're going to learn about the New Testament here. And we're going to learn about the Old Testament here. And we celebrated Jewish holidays and Jewish occasions and Christian ones. And I went to every church. Unbelievable. Anyway,
you got a taste of different things.
It was just to get to have that understanding, because our parents, you need an understanding to help you find what your truth is, to help you find what's in your heart. And so my brother chose Catholicism. My sister chose Judaism and raised her children in the Jewish faith. And I just went where the gifts were.
Who's ever given me the most?
Someone has to, stand in the middle here and say, what holiday is it? I'm showing up. What do you want me to bring? I didn't choose a religion. I never did say, well, I am a, fill in the blank.
Yourself.
I'd never labeled myself anything.
You just basically said, I'm A-okay with everything.
Where are the gifts?
There you go.
And you know, and to this day, and I, you know, raised my children similarly in that, you know, we celebrate Christmas, but I like the menorah each year. And I do that as a nod to my heritage and respect for my family, much more than a religious thing.
Yeah,
it's
more tradition.
It's my family history and heritage, and I respect that, even though I don't follow its religion. It's part of who I am, so I respect that and honor that in Christianity and Judaism. And so I've always I've never identified as a something religious.
Most intuitives don't, because there's truth everywhere.
Yeah.
It's a blend of truth and tradition, and it all kind of comes down to the same thing. So love each other, don't hurt each other, and well, it's kind of brave that your parents. I mean, at that time, it was kind of brave to not.
60s.
Yeah, that's. I mean, everything was very based on religion back then. You had to belong to a category.
Yes.
And for them to say, look, we'll give you a taste of everything, then you decide for yourself. I think that was a very kind of forward-thinking way. I mean, wasn't really done back then.
Well, you have to remember, this would go back to the 50s. They were, they step into a marriage of, you know, a Catholic and a Jew getting married. Boom.
That was already like, wow.
Boom, they've already crossed the line. they've already messed up with what society is accepting of.
Yes.
So I think my parents were probably, you know, looking back at it, they were probably pushed in the corner of it would be hypocritical of them to do anything else than to say, you decide, because their marriage was, I mean, certainly eyebrows were going up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're marrying a Jew. Oh, you're marrying a Catholic. I mean, these were, you know, who cares today?
Yeah.
But in that
they were trendsetters.
They were trendsetters in that way. You know, they crossed the line, and it was it was taboo.
Right. Now it's very common.
Oh, no one cares today.
Cares. I was raised too in the same way. Like Mom said, just choose for yourself. I didn't choose anything. I didn't actually go into anything either. I didn't research anything. I was just, why do I need to learn extra stuff than school?
Too much to learn.
Too much stuff.
But you too would go where the gifts are.
Probably.
If I said, hey, we're celebrating this occasion,
I will be present with every celebration. If it's got free food and some ambiance, I'm there. That would be me.
Little party hats.
See, we're related.
Yeah. Show me the party.
We're the same. All right. Louise wants to know, how did you, in the beginning, keep confident in your faculties that were growing?
I think being a counselor helped me tremendously, because I had so many years of in that profession and working with people where my intuition was, as I said, covert. So I never was I wasn't in a position of my intuition being questioned or judged, or, no, you're right, you're wrong, you know, any of that. It was all self-imposed, of course, any of that, but it wasn't coming from there. So for me, I got steady on my feet from counseling and just using my intuition and developing that, to the point of when I came to that point of, I can do this, and I don't need to do it under the guise of a counselor.
Right. And I mean, being intuitive, what I've noticed is that you also have to be in a kind of good place with yourself. And do you think that because you were a counselor and you were experiencing other people's problems, and maybe some of those were mirroring what you were going through.
Absolutely.
That through helping them, you helped yourself.
Absolutely. We teach what it is we need to learn. First group of folks that I worked with, a group of women with low self-esteem. No one had, my self-esteem had been in the gutter. I was perfect for the job. So, yes, we teach what we need to learn. It's very helpful. And I think I was saying that to you earlier today, that being, or even in the start of the interview, I've lost track of time, to be in a healthy place, in a good place, to be able to help people when you're steady on your feet and you don't have a full plate and stress and challenges going on. It's much, not to say you can't do it, but it is much, much easier, not only for me, but for the person that I'm helping, if I'm okay. Makes
then
a
you're
world of
sharing
difference.
your balanced energy with the other person.
Absolutely. I want to be in a good place. And, we know that and many of our viewers know, if your energy is low and you're not feeling well, you're going to say, you know what, I cannot do a session with you today because I'm not there. And that's out of respect for my energy and yours, what I'm about to give, what you're about to receive. So being in that balanced, healthy place is going to make a difference for me and the recipient. Absolutely.
And then last question, you made it.
Oh dear. Who's still watching? I wonder if anyone's still watching.
They're all hooked
off.
They're all having coffee right now.
They're all gone.
Lori wants to know, how did the angel card reading come into play? I so enjoyed the lives that you do, and thank you very much. So how did you start with the cards and the angels?
Well, let me give a shout out to Lori. She was my first sidekick.
Really?
She was my first sidekick, Lori Spears. Bless her cotton socks. She's
bless her cotton socks. I haven't heard that one yet.
Who knows where these things come from? Anyway, how did the angel readings? Oh, we'll stop. Are they construction? How did the angel card readings? Eric,
get in there. Pull on his ear, will you?
Why did they pull the cord out? Yeah.
Oh, electricity went out.
The angel card readings really, to me, is angels at work for sure. For sure. I had been doing intuitive life coaching for folks. And people don't really want that. They want something deeper than that. And 2020 hit. I think most of us know what happened in 2020. Don't have to say it.
We don't have to use the words.
No, we won't use the words. Early on in 2020, like many people, I was feeling discouraged, sad, just not, sort of helpless, I suppose. What can I do?
Yeah.
What can I do? I had been working with people. I've been working with people my whole life, and I felt the shift. I felt this change. It was obvious. And I was sitting in my office. I'm looking all around, all my driddle, all my stuff. I've got the angels out there. I've got all my stuff. And I'm looking like, it's right in front of your face. It's right in front of your face. And it's like loud, almost not said, but a little bit felt, you idiot. Yeah. As what is in front of my face? Angel cards. That's how the angel cards started.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, got you. So I took my angel cards. I looked at them and said, so this is it. This is what it's come to, reading cards. And of course, I give a nod to my mother and grandmother and whoever else in my family that have sat down with folks and flipped the cards. And I thought, here I am. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to be using cards. So, I've been coaching people without any cards. And I never saw myself as using cards. I had them. I used them for myself. I think I even used them with you and your family when you came to visit once. We played with them. Yeah, we played with them.
Yeah, it was fun.
So, yeah, real fun. So I'm like, really, this is what it's come to? Years and years of work? It's come down to a deck of cards? Okay. I mean, I guess, you have to see a little humor in that. So that's how the angel cards readings began. It began with me staring at my cards saying, whatever could I do now? What could I do to lift people up and cheer people on? What is it? I'm staring right at the cards. What is it? So I know. So then the rest is history. Thank you so much.
So in a way, you're kind of following into the footsteps of your ancestors who also worked with cards and tools and that's bring forth messages.
That's the biggest surprise. And that's, go full circle here. Kathy asking, what's the biggest surprise? This is the biggest surprise. My whole life I thought, I will cherish my gift. I will cherish my intuition. I will use it in my life personally and professionally. But if you think that I'm going to be sitting down with you flipping cards no, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to be looking at your cards. Oh, I do it all the time now.
There you go. And people love them and you love it. And so
there you
continue to share those angels' messages and their wisdom. And thank you for being my friend and my guide and my support.
And my
mom. Now, if you guys want to know more about Pam, my dear friend,
and my cards,
and her channelings, and just have a session. Check her out. She's amazing. She helps me all the time. So
her life coach.
Yep. There you go. So
okay,
you have a website.
I do have a website. I'm on Facebook. Pamela Roadknight on Facebook. I am live most Sundays. If you catch me live, you can see what I do there. And links are posted there.
Yep. We're going to put all the links below the video.
And all the business there.
And then you have an amazing Patreon account where people are constantly receiving lots of messages and information.
My unique thing on Patreon, everyone's got to have a unique thing. Mine is that I put forth, what would you call it? My content is for individuals on Patreon, much more than the collective. That there is content for the collective every day, Monday through Friday, but my emphasis is on delivering personal messages to the Patreon members every month. There are different membership levels there, so you choose what fits for you. But the emphasis really is on the individual member rather than the collective. So check that out too.
Yeah, because it's pretty amazing because you really get guidance every month. And that's something that not a lot of people offer who channel.
Right. It's there for you every month, folks.
There you go. So go check that out. I'm going to put all the links below in this video. And thank you. Thank you for deciding to say yes to this interview, because she was like, nobody wants to hear from me.
Nobody wants to.
But I
want to comment below. Did you really stay through the whole thing, or did you have to hit pause a couple times? Did you have to I'm stopping, I'll stop and come back, or it took you three times to get through the whole thing? Comment below. That would be kind of fun to know. How many times did you stop and start this video to see it to its completion?
One last question. How do you feel about interviewing Mary Magdalene? You didn't get to do Jesus.
I didn't get to do Jesus.
But you get to do Mary.
I'll do Mary. Well, I understand there are some surprises with her, and that excites me. And I won't disclose that. I'm not going to do a spoiler alert, other than I think we are going to be surprised with Mary, and so watch for that.
Stay tuned. Bye.
Bye.